Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode. We're going to make it short and sweet. I got the most relevant questions when it comes to Bitcoin. And I have the one and only with me, James. James has been in the finance sector for 13 years. And I've known you for, 10 years, James, already? Something like that? Close to 10, right?
About eight.
About eight.
About eight. No?
I know. James is good in finance and in numbers, so he knows exactly. So about 8. So James, please tell us a little more about you and what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll fill in. First, thanks so much for having me. I'll fill in a couple of holes from my background, just so everyone knows a little about me. I worked for 13 years in traditional finance back in the U.S. 9 of which many Europeans may know, 9 of the years were with 𝗟𝗶𝗺𝗺𝗀 Financial. And during my time there, I was stockbroker, investment planning, wealth management, retirement planning, just over 9 years, a little bit of everything. And so when I got into the cryptocurrency world, it all kind of made perfect sense to me. I've been in the cryptocurrency world for about 3.5 years. Yeah, Jerry's right. I was trying. We look back at our messages. My first telling him to buy was September 2017. I have to look back at the price that day. Might have been 12 or 1500, something like that. Jerry would only be 30 some times his money if he listened to me that day.
Yeah, that is true. That's very true.
But that's okay. It's, it feels late, but when I tell everyone it feels late, but it's still really early. So again, thanks so much for having me.
No problem. This content that what James has been teaching me and has been showing me is so valuable, in my opinion, that I asked him, I said, James, I'm going to say it, James, and I'm going to say it. James teaches this in workshops for a lot of money. And I said, please, James, for my meetup group, please, let's do something. And he said, fine. So we're going to do something for my meetup group. So that's why I wanted to invite James and ask him the first questions that everybody has about Bitcoin, which I also had. And this might help you identify if this is something for you or not. But at least you're going to learn something tonight. We're going to make it as quick and short as possible. So here we go. James, I'm going to get my questions. Give me 1 second.
I'm ready.
So here we go. Okay, don't laugh, okay? Because you're so deep into it, right? So please, just yeah, I'm sure you get this in your workshops. So the first question is, what is Bitcoin and what's so good about it, James?
The toughest question is at the beginning. What is it? Since we're trying to keep this short and day one, I will say basically Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer protocol that allows you to send money person to person. I can send money to Jerry or anyone else on the globe without permission, without a bank, without needing a third party, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's kind of the protocol itself. Deeper meaning, since this is a global fixed currency, it means different things to different people around the world. So if you're in Venezuela, say, or somewhere else in South America that had really, really high inflation, Argentina is another good example. Bitcoin could have saved your life savings and maybe even increased them by now. It's more of a trading tool in Asia at the moment. And in the West, in Germany, in America, it's really kind of a speculative asset. People are buying in hopes to getting rich, but it's it's something different to every person. It's the best way to put it.
So James, I keep hearing this buzzword, blockchain. What is blockchain?
Blockchain is the core. It's the base of every cryptocurrency you may hear about. But in short, without getting too technical, it allows the two parties to transact without a third party. There is another set of, we'll say, another interested party called the miners, which we can get into. They verify transactions on the blockchain. So basically, you and I can transact peer to peer. The miners verify the transactions. Then they go into the blockchain. It's complicated way of being able to tell us the order that something happened. So let's say we transact, I send you a Bitcoin, that transaction gets verified by these outside miners, and then it's a timestamp, and then that coin is yours, and you're free to then send it on to another party. So it's basically, it's an ordering mechanism. It lets us know when something happened, and then now you're able to transact with coins you received.
Is Bitcoin really money? Because people say that this is like play money, but is it really money?
Of course, I've been in this world for 3.5 years. I would say it is money. Going back, I would first say that I think people don't really know what makes a good money. So if you'll allow, I'll say the 5 things that make a good money, and then why Bitcoin is that. So first, money should be portable in the sense that you're able to easily move it around. It should be recognizable. So when you look at it, you know it's a dollar, it's a euro. It should be durable, meaning that it lasts through time. It should be scarce, meaning it shouldn't be too much of it. And it should be fungible, basically. So I send you a Bitcoin, you send me one, and they're basically both treated the same on the open market. So those 5 things make a good money: portable, recognizable, durable, fungible, and scarce. And in that sense, Bitcoin is the best money that we've ever had. It can literally last forever since it's on a blockchain. It's time-stamped, and anyone can view this blockchain. It's completely transparent. It's fungible. We can trade Bitcoins back and forth, and the market will treat them the same. It's just information, so we can literally travel around the world with it. And oh boy, I think I forgot one of my 5. But because of those reasons, it makes Bitcoin the best money that we've ever seen. It's beyond gold in all of those measures, and far beyond our fiat currencies, dollars, euros, and so on.
Is Bitcoin a good investment? That's what people are asking. Is it a good investment?
Not knowing who will hear this, I can't say for everyone's situation if it's a good investment. I will say about the volatility, 2 things. So first, this is we're witnessing something try to become a new money, and you don't go from 0 to a stable money in 12 years. There will be ups and downs. As I mentioned, it's traded 24/7. People around the world see it in a different way. So everyone kind of values it differently. So that being said, yeah, you don't go from nothing to stable without some hops. Going back to my investment planning days, we would position the volatile assets in someone's portfolio. We would just size it down. So if Bitcoin going from 30,000 to 3,000 is too much for you, that's okay. Then it would be 1 to 5% of your portfolio. So you can offset volatility with position size, and so it doesn't drive you too crazy.
Aren't stocks and government-backed securities better than Bitcoin, in your opinion? Now, again, before we continue, this is only your opinion. You're not telling anybody here what to do, what not to do. I'm just asking your opinion since you are such an avid investor.
Yeah, I will say, again, me personally, I'll start with stocks. So right now, the stock market is, in a general sense, very overvalued. I think if you follow kind of the politics or the money printing or banks and the ECB or the Fed, you see that's a lot of new money coming to the market. That eventually makes it to stocks. So today is a crowded trade. There's not much value there, and yeah, so you would have to. For stocks, you would have to find like this, it's a needle in a haystack today. A company that's undervalued, that hasn't been pumped up to crazy numbers like you might see with Tesla today or Zoom when the virus came on the scene. So there's a lot of overpriced stocks in the market. So stocks, to me right now, are not that attractive. So yeah, we'll put that to the side. And for government currencies, and I would say this is where Bitcoin competes directly with governments right now. So we're recording this on January 13th. President-elect Biden will announce his stimulus plan tomorrow, and the early whispers are that he's talking about another $1.3 trillion in stimulus. And that's just the start. And then there's a bigger plan coming. God knows how much they printed over 2020 with all of the things with 19. So that being said, if you're holding a lot of dollars or a lot of euros, they are being devalued by the day. We don't know exactly how many they are. I read an interesting stat a couple of weeks ago. In the last year or year and a half, I believe it was 65% of all dollars in existence were printed in the last year. So it's an amazing stat for just how much inflation. We might not see it yet, but it should be coming soon with that much new money in the market. But Jerry's original question was, is Bitcoin, or how does Bitcoin compete against stocks and government currencies? So I would say Bitcoin versus government currencies. Bitcoin is a fixed amount. There'll never be more than 21 million. They're only about 18.5 million today, and they are printing dollars and euros millions per day. And we don't know how many there are. So that's really the investment thesis in a nutshell for Bitcoin versus holding government currencies.
How do I get a Bitcoin?
You want to get to step one, like where to begin. I will say, in fairness to Jerry, it's a lot easier than it was 3 years ago. There are loads of different programs where it's very, very easy onboarding. And the good part is, if you're able to join us in a couple of weeks, we're going to set you up or help you get set up with wallets, and also you can do your first Bitcoin transaction. So I'll have a little bit of Bitcoin on a wallet, and over the course of the seminar, we'll kind of just send it around to each other. It's a lot easier than people think, and it'll help it'll help make everything less scary for new people. So you get your first taste of Bitcoin in a couple of weeks, and alongside that, for people not in a seminar, there are loads of companies that allow you to do kind of everyday shopping and receive Bitcoin as rewards. So if anyone happens to see this from the United States, there's a company called Lolli, L-O-L-L-I. They allow you, there's like a Chrome plugin, and you do all your regular shopping on the web, and you get a set percentage back of the fiat you spent in Bitcoin. So I remember it's like 6 or 7% for Adidas or something. So say you spend $100 on some Adidas shoes, you get $7 in Bitcoin back in your Lolli wallet. In the EU, there's a similar company called 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, and Jerry and I, we can put all the notes in, so you guys will have the links. But there are a number of ways to get started now without having someone pay you for a service. There's shopping, there's rewards cards, and again, like I said, with the seminar, you'll be able to get your first taste of Bitcoin.
Do I have to buy a full Bitcoin?
It's a very good question, and thank God, no. Right now, as at the time of recording, Bitcoin's about 36,000 US dollars. But the beauty of it, that was the characteristic of money that I forgot, divisible. So can you cut it up into small pieces? That also makes a good money. That was number 5. And the beauty of Bitcoin is that it's divisible to 100 million pieces. So every Bitcoin, there are 100 million pieces to it. And what that means is you can buy some of the companies that I know of, you can buy 10, 20 euros worth to start. And that's totally okay. There's, the minimums, the lowest minimum I've seen is $10 for some automatic, or €10 for some automatic programs. So you definitely we mentioned position sizing for volatility. You can definitely start really small based on the day your pay comes in, just what you're okay losing. It's very flexible because of that divisibility.
I got one bonus question for you.
Oh no.
Because it was supposed to be 7, but I actually have 2 bonus questions for you. So the first one is, and sorry, James, that I'm taking your time.
Oh, it's quite all right.
Do I need a bank to get an address?
Probably most Germans will see this. I will say, Jein. It's not a must. You can do everything on your own. The beauty of Bitcoin is that you are totally in control of everything. So when we create our wallets in a couple of weeks, that will be your address, and you can do what you want with it, and no one can stop you. If that's scary for people, and I get it, it's a very new thing. There are many companies that do custody as well. So you can buy from an exchange, they will have a wallet, they'll hold it for you. So it's basically both types of person are covered. If you're less technical, there are many custody solutions, the exchanges, as I mentioned. If you're like me, you don't trust anyone, you want to hold it yourself, that's possible too.
Here's my last question, and I don't know if you have an answer for this.
Okay.
Because I was telling someone that we were going to jump on a call right now, and he asked me, well, what if all the power in the world goes out? What happens to my coins?
We hear that a lot in the Bitcoin world. You'll be surprised. Very, very,
really?
very, very smart economists and people that just can't believe it works. Everyone says, what if the government turns off the power? What if there's an EMP? What if the internet is shut down? Blah, blah, blah. We hear it a lot. I will say a few things. First, if the power is shut off, you have a lot more problems than Bitcoin. You don't have food, you don't have internet, you can't buy anything in the store. There's a whole lot of problems.
Hot water, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff goes wrong before you get to Bitcoin. Yeah. They shut it off, or if it is shut off. But secondly, if it is shut off, because your coins are only moved by your private keys, your password, like on a ledger, even if, the power is not going to be down forever, when it comes back on, you still have your ledger and you can still transact. And thirdly, this is pretty crazy. The Bitcoin group, they're very paranoid people. And right now there's a company called Blockstream, and I believe they have rented space. It might be 2 or 3 satellites. So basically the blockchain data is streamed up to a satellite every 10 minutes. So even if the power goes off, transactions are still being sent back and forth to a satellite. So they have coverage outside of the internet, and everyone's welcome to Google. They have companies called Blockstream, and I think maybe 2 or 3 satellites. I think they cover half of the globe, if I remember correctly. But the Bitcoiners are very, very paranoid, and they have thought of everything, including satellites. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. So James, that's it for questions. I want to thank you so much for taking the time and answering those questions and just getting people ready for what the workshop is going to look like.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, and I look forward to the seminar. Hopefully everyone is able to join. As Jerry said, we'll go pretty deep into these topics. We have hour and a half set aside, but we're not married to that time. If questions go beyond that, that's totally okay. And as we mentioned, we'll do the background of Bitcoin, why it's important. First wallets, we'll try to get a transaction around to everyone in who's on the call. So really a jam-packed hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, tiny breaks, Q&A, you name it. If you're not there, where would you rather be?
It'll be fun. I think it's going to be really fun. I think we're going to have a good time. So everybody can bring their favorite drink and then get on with it with us.
Oh yeah, I'll bring a drink too. We'll make it a happy hour as well.
We can make it oh man. we might just do that. We might do a little happy hour, and then just You know what? We can celebrate to us sending each other the Bitcoin fractions. We can maybe celebrate doing that as well. We'll figure it out. James, thank you very much. I'm going to end the call there, and I want to wish you a nice evening. And everybody who is interested in Bitcoin and learning more about it and taking part in the workshop, either check out in the description of this video or just shoot me a message so I can send you the link so that you can have everything ready so you can join us.
Perfect. Thank you again, Jerry.
Good night, James. Bye-bye.